hell down there. You know, the U.S. Navy, well, that's their problem. You know, they've got to stop that. It's not, you know, I can't do a hell lot about that.
Well, and what kind of container is not going to rust over time? Oh, they all will.
Well, that's what happened. Yeah. Well, that's what happened in Somalia. The Italian mafia in the 80s, after Italy voted to go non-nuclear after Chernobyl, they dumped shiploads off Somalia, created a hotspot, washed up in the 2004 tsunami. They found it. Soon as the government of Somalia started to realize what happened, that's when all the guns came in, you know, from London.
Shut them
all
up.
The, you know, new firearms.
Yeah.
Somali pirates problem started. The government was displaced, you know, dislodged, and the country was divided, so no word would get out. That's why people haven't heard. There's no outcry.
I'll be damned. I didn't know that.
Done nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, UN's done nothing. Yeah, there's like whole ships were sunk there. They criticized the Scandinavian ships. You know,
let me ask you another question.
Old ones, yeah.
All right, here's a question. Yeah. Isn't there some place on this planet that we could dig and create an enormous repository for the world's nuclear waste that would be safe? Relatively speaking. It's better. You don't put it in the ocean. That's for damn sure.
No, Germany's got these salt mines that they're doing it in these huge underground salt mines, which are very solid, really solid. So Germany's doing it. They're responsibly taking care of their own. Australia is talking about doing it because they're uranium exporters, so they have to get rid of their own waste so they can. And they're talking about bringing, basically selling storage space to other countries, so it won't be cheap. It's got to be cool. The WIPP down in New Mexico, obviously that wasn't well done. It's in bedrock down there, but there was an accident, a fire down there. So, and for Japan, the problem is this wastewater. There's no reason. We store water in tunnels in Japan. There's massive tunnels under some of the major rivers.
Really, these are man-made tunnels.
Gigantic ones. Yeah, they're the biggest tunnels. You can take 2-3 trains through there. And we store water in case of drought because we did have water shortages.
Were they designed for that purpose?
Yeah. We have water shortage, severe water shortage in the 80s. So whenever there's a massive storm, we filter the water and send it down in these tunnels. So, but the Japanese government hasn't done that because there's been this deliberate policy not to do that. They want to contaminate the United States and Canada, punish the United States for what happened in World War II, Well,
that's
so
obvious.
There's a deliberate criminal mentality behind not putting the water in the tunnels because we have the world's greatest machines. Mitsubishi makes these fantastic ones used all around the world.
What kind of machines are they? I'm sorry, what?
Mitsubishi. They're these gigantic, sort of these round diamond edge blades.
Oh, for the tunnel borers. Okay.
Yeah, they can just easily tunnel through rock, the hardest rock. It's amazing, these machines, how fast they work. But they won't do that because they want to basically destroy the American people. I mean, I don't know how to put it any other way. And that's an issue I think Donald Trump's got to look at. Before I said I think the problem of the relationship with Mexico is a major national security issue, probably the major, because there's, territorial claims, cultural claims. There's a lot of hotheads on the Mexican side.
Right.
And, let's face it, there's a lot of rednecks on the American side. So it's a recipe for disaster, But, immediately, that's sort of a longer-term issue, but the immediate problem Trump's got to face is this undeclared nuclear war by the Shinzo Abe regime against the United States, refusing to store their nuclear waste, their nuclear water, and dumping in the Pacific. It's a deliberate refuse. Basically, they could have done it. They have the means to do that, and they basically sabotaged. They came up with nonsensical, not solutions. What do you call it? Nonsensical delay tactics. Of trying to filter away all of it. They knew all that would fail.
Sure.
They have done nothing, and at this point, we got to say it's deliberate. They've had 5.5 years to do something,
so
and everything has failed.
Fukushima emissions at this point, you feel are deliberate. Not the actual mechanism, but the fact that they haven't.
They drained the most high-level radioactive tanks have been drained.
They're empty. Sure. Yeah. I don't believe there's anything in there.
Tanks. So therefore, and they did it quietly. They even sort of hinted at it after it was done. So they didn't warn the world. They didn't say anything. The IAEA they control. Head of it is Japanese. They're bribing people off there. So there's it has to be. At a certain point, it's no longer because like you laugh about we're 6 years on, we're 5.5 years on. There's a certain point when chaos and all, because there's been these quiet interludes. There's been plenty of time now. There's plenty of policy. There's been a lot of planning, and there is absolutely no intention to contain the water. And this is what I think. Remember, like right after the crisis, when we first, I first came on your station, I said we have to contain the radioactivity.
Absolutely, you sure did.
It is wrong to send this out to the rest of the world. We have to contain it. Once we let it out, we can't get it back in. Containment is the only thing we can do. It's the only way to, prevent this disaster from going global. And it's our only way actually to deal with this disaster, to, develop the technologies to extract the nucleotides and so on. So that was clear from the beginning. I'm no scientific genius. I didn't graduate in physics. I was in chemistry. But it's obviously very simple common sense they haven't done. And so I think Trump, Shinzo Abe is barging in on Trump on Thursday. He's doing a New York stopover on his way to Peru.
He's forcing his way into Trump's schedule, isn't he?
He is, and this is outrageous because Trump doesn't have a cabinet yet.
No.
Trump's main issues now is listening to his supporters, American people.
Well, Abe's doing it so he can go home and say, I was the first head of state to meet with the president-elect of the United States. Abe's doing it as an ego trip.
It's an ego trip, but he'll tell the Japanese people, Trump nodded when I said you should support the TPP. Trump smiled when I said you had to keep the U.S.-Japan alliance. And then Abe's already said, well, we don't want to be, Trump says, why don't you go develop your own nuclear bomb? Because Trump knows darn well Japan's had a secret nuclear bomb program there in Fukushima. So do it openly, where at least we can watch you and monitor this thing. And Abe doesn't want to do that. Of course he doesn't want an open nuclear program, because he needs plausible deniability, because I've always argued the nuclear bomb has nothing to do with deterring China or the North Koreans. It's always been aimed at the Americans. So you have to deny the existence of a program so you can have a false flag attack against America. Okay?
Yeah.
And this is no longer a false flag. They are. America is under massive attack. The whole country has been irradiated, basically. Every time it rains, it's raining from Fukushima. So Trump, I think, needs to put Abe in his place and just tell him, no, I'm busy putting together my cabinet. I understand your positions. I don't agree with them, so there's no point us discussing it, And I'll put you on my schedule when I've got time and when I'm president. I mean, that's what Trump should be saying.
I agree. You wrote up a nice piece, and we put it up at Rents, and we also had it put on Trump's Facebook page, so they'll see it.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Because Pence may go out to the airport and meet him and say, we're sorry, we're busy, thank you for your concern, goodbye. That's it. But very, very clearly, Shinzo Abe is in the other side of the tennis net there, and the other side of the ball court. Supports TPP, wants to keep exporting Toyotas to America, wants to keep crushing GM and Ford, and Ford is all being stanched there. They're not selling cars in Japan or Asia because, the Japanese have basically can control the market through financing and every other thing, trade rules, all that. So the American, industry is being crushed in Japan. They're being invaded by the Japanese, who have free reign. Toyota's been given like the keys to the town, right? The golden keys to every town in America. So there's unfair trade. Okay, and then
it's not good. We have to take a break, Yoshi, but there really is no common ground between these two men at all, and
none.
I
policy differences.
It's really silly. Hold on a second, we'll come right back.
Yeah.
All right, we're back with Yoshi, and let me tell you, I don't know anyone listening out there at any time during the campaign did I hear Fukushima or radiation mentioned. I don't think anyone mentioned it. No accident. No coincidence. I don't think they touched it. They want nothing to do with it. Nothing. Don't ask, don't tell. Don't worry, be happy.
Well, I'm not too depressed about it, because at least Trump came out against this climate theory and realizes that right now, the use of carbon-based fuels is not the worst thing in the world right now for the planet. That
absolutely
we have other
no.
problems, so.
No.
So he's obviously clued there, and that policy can help spring this whole nuclear issue. And I think we should be agitating for the next head of the Department of Energy, instead of this guy Stephen Chu or Ernest Moniz, follow the money Moniz, to there's a nuclear physicist, working with DOE. Yeah. We need someone from outside. So I think we should try to get a nomination for Arnie Gunderson. Arnie Gunderson should be the head of the Department of Energy. He's taking a principled stand. He knows his stuff. He knows people in the industry. Over at the Japan embassy, put in someone like Richard Wilcox, environmentalist, has been steadily nuclear foe.
I'd rather see
the issues there in Japan. So
I'd rather
that's the team we need.
I'd rather see Yoichi Shimatsu.
Well, I should be an outside critic, I suppose, because but anyway, whatever. Okay, I mean, there have to be people at the nuclear desk in state, the proliferation desk, who understand why we have to go non-nuclear.
Right.
There needs to be a change of policy, and we should be pushing for that, because we sure as hell have done a lot of the homework for the Trump people. When they were in a tight spot with this Khizr Khan and all that. So we've sort of hauled their wood and fetched their pails of water.
You got it.
I think they do owe something for the people who've held out against this climate bogus aspect. I've always said I'm not entirely against climate theory. I do think there's too much carbon, but it's not like a super pressing issue as they present as the one horse issue. No,
it's not a crisis.
The environment is a very complicated issue. Lots of threats out there, and we've got to take each as they are. Each one as they are, and not try to create an ideology. It's a very practical business.
Yoshi, the methane hydrate issue may be more important than carbon. That's a big deal, and it's coming up in the Arctic now, and it's coming up.
Bubbling out the ground. And a lot of various organisms that we haven't seen might have killed past species. So we don't know what's coming out of the ground now that nuclear has destroyed the Arctic region, opened the ozone hole. But the main thing is we got to contain the nuclear bandits out of Japan, the Fukushima gang and Abe. They've got to go. They got to be put out. And Trump's just got to give them a schedule. Let's say, we're giving you 2.5 years to address this, okay? And this is what we want to see every month, and just lay it out to them and say, you're going to do this. We don't care about money, because you can just cut your foreign aid and whatever else. You can cut the size of your government. The Bank of Japan's been throwing money away. Just tell them to pump up the money, okay? You're going to do this. I don't think it's asking. This is no longer, when someone's got a gun to your head, just shot your daughter, okay? Do you ask them, please? No, you take the gun away and you knock them to the ground and said, you're going to walk over there to the jail, or I'm going to shoot you right here. I mean, this got to be like, we can't. There's no more gentlemanliness in this. America is being destroyed. Okay, American people, their children are being destroyed.
This audience may understand that. This audience may understand that, but 99% of Americans have no idea, Yoshi. None.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if Abe is...
He's talking about the wall, okay? The wall along the Mexican border. Well, there's no way you're going to put up a wall across the Pacific, okay? So you've got to get Japan to stop this.
I wonder if Abe is...
You're going to stop this on your territory. You're going to start doing it now, this hour, and this is how you're going to do it, and we're giving you a timetable, and if you fail, we got a lot of American troops.
What a great leadership
in and around Japan.
Achievement that would be.
So the next government will come in. If we have to shepherd in another government who will do it, we will. I mean, it's got to be like that. This is survival. American survival at stake. 6 years is way too long. This has been an atrocity. And, the cancer cases, population climate.
Well, now we have cancer cells floating around in the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic, by the way, that are actually in